Welcome to the mycore software system. I'm going to spend the next few minutes showing you how everything works. Before we go any further, it's important to remember that the mycore software is like any cloud-based software you might buy online. Your information is stored on the cloud with all the security measures you'd expect. The mycore software can be accessed through any internet-enabled device. So if you have a laptop, a computer, a tablet, a smartphone, you can use our tool. The mycore tool is not an app. It's software that just happens to have an app. I'm going to focus this presentation on the software itself. I'll make another presentation at a different time about the mobile app, which essentially mirrors this same software. We currently have an iOS app for Apple users, and we anticipate an Android release later this year. Okay, let's get started. So this is the login screen. You can get here by going to mycore.com, where the login is on the top right of the site, or you can go to app.mycore.com. Either destination will take you here. For those who are new to our software, you can click on the New to mycore link and set up your profile like you might any other software you'd buy online. Okay, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to log you into my profile so you can see how I'm personally using it. There are three primary components to our software: my values, my goals, my plan. I'll briefly walk you through all three of them. Let's start with values. This is where you identify what you care about and why you care about it. What you see here are my own personal values. Now, these do not need to be your values. These are simply mine as an example. But you can put anything you value or want to become here. I've uploaded custom images for each of my values. This helps me stay focused and attached to the things I care most about. These value tiles are listed in order of priority from left to right, top to bottom. So, for example, if I value writing over photojournalism, I can change the order or priority of these values by simply dragging one tile in front of the other. If you're new to the software, there won't be any values here because your values are your own and they're up to you to identify. To help you get started, there's two ways to add values. You can click this large button or the Add New Values button on the top right of the screen and be presented a list of possible values you might attach to. You add a value by simply clicking on the tile and then hitting Done. If you're like me, you might have values that are not listed here, so you can create a custom value by selecting the Create Custom Value link. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll select Innovation as a personal value. I value innovation and I want to become more innovative. You'll notice that innovation is now part of my personal value set. When I click on the value tile, I can edit its properties. If I find a better way to describe or characterize that value, I can change it here. I can also write a clarifying statement. A clarifying statement is important because this is where we describe in detail that value, its meaning to us, and what we want to do about it. The most effective value statements, we've discovered, are written in first person and in the affirmative. In other words, write the value not as you are, but what you seek to become. Envision what this value means to you as if you're already there. This also helps us get clear on what it may take to live that value more fully. Each value can be associated with a color. This is not only awesome, but totally helpful later in the software. I'll show you how that works in a few minutes. But for now, let's just give innovation the color of orange. So there you have it. This is the values section of our software. You don't have to do this for the software to be helpful. But if you want to close a gap in your life, and if you want to do things that are more important to you and track it accordingly, this is the first step. Lastly, if I scroll down the page, you'll see what's called a core statement. This is the sum total of all my clarifying statements for each of my values. I found this personally helpful because it's sort of a manifesto for myself, and when I read it, I'm reminded not only what I say I care about, but why I care about it. The goals section is pretty simple. This is where you decide to do something about what you value. So for example, remember when I showed you my own personal values? Well, I listed my wife and my relationship with her is one of my top values. And I'm clear about why she's important to me because I wrote my clarifying statement. Well, I've set a goal to get some wife insurance. As I click on my goal, you'll see that I've already listed some steps in order to live that value more fully. I can add new steps at any time. I can also assign a step a specific date, or I can leave it on default and it'll show up on my calendar in a really cool place, and I'll show you that in a minute. If I decide it's time to set a new goal, I simply click on Add a New Goal and I'm presented with a template to fill in. I can assign the goal a value, I can write the goal in this field, and I can identify a start date when I want to complete the goal. As necessary, I can write description of the goal here, and then once the goal's been set, I can start to identify steps that are necessary to reach that goal. So that's pretty much it. Your goal's listed by personal values and some status information on this simple panel. The plan section is the practical part of the application, the part of our software you use every day and the place you go to get things done. What you see here is my week schedule. There's also a day view and there'll soon be a month view. I much prefer the week view because I generally live and plan by weeks. But you can do this however you want to do it. There are 3 primary components here: my schedule, my task for each day, and my choice list. And I'll get to the choice list in just a minute. The schedule, or calendar, functions like any traditional calendar you know and use. What's really cool about this calendar is I can tie it to Google, Microsoft Exchange, or iCloud accounts, and all of my calendars, tasks, and reminders from those places appear in this single interface. No more juggling calendars. Everything's in one place. Super simple. Remember the color codes I showed you with my personal values? Well, those color tags show up here in my events and tasks. So at a glance, I can see where I'm spending most of my time. If I see a lot of light blue and no red, then I know I'm not spending any time and energy on my highest value, which is my relationship with my wife. So at a glance, these color codes and these tags help me understand quickly how I'm spending my energy. Each day has a list of associated tasks. You'll notice that most of mine have a value tag and a color associated with them. Again, this helps me tell quickly where I'm spending my time and attention. You can add a task by simply clicking on the Add button. You can give it a predefined value, if appropriate, and then hit Enter. It'll show up on your task list as an unprioritized task. You can give it a priority by simply dragging it. The priority system is pretty simple. A's are things you have to get done, B's are things you'd like to get done, and C's are things you can do if there's enough time. If I decide that a certain task needs to have some time given to it, I can simply drag the task to a block of time on my calendar. Now it's scheduled. When I'm done with the task, I can simply check it off. If for some reason I don't complete a task, it'll appear at the top of my choice list with a red icon indicating that it wasn't completed. Uncompleted tasks simply roll forward and appear in this bucket. I don't have to worry about managing the things I forgot or didn't get around to doing. They tumble forward so I can keep moving forward. Which brings me to one of my favorite features of this software, the choice list. Think of this as a master task list, or a list of to-dos or things you want to remember at some point and make a choice on. Like your calendar events, any task that appears in your Google, Exchange, or iCloud accounts also appear here. No more having to manage multiple task lists. Also, I can add items to my choice list in the same way I add a task. When I'm ready to act on any of these choice list items, I simply drag it to the appropriate day, or I can just give it a block of time to get it done. One last thing. I can get my iPhone and tell Siri to remind me to, let's say, take out the garbage on Thursday. Siri puts it on my iCloud calendar as a reminder, and because mycore reads my iCloud calendar, it'll appear as a task to complete on Thursday. If I tell Siri to simply remind me of something and I don't give it a day or time, that reminder will just simply appear at the top of my choice list. We've coined the choice list as a feature that gives you the freedom to focus and the freedom to forget. No more worrying about forgetting something that's really important. It appears here for you to make a choice on when you're ready. In closing, let me show you how to tie your existing calendars to this tool. In Settings, you can tie your calendar and task list from other accounts. You simply click on the link Add Calendar or Task List and follow the on-screen instructions. Once you tie your existing accounts to mycore, you'll be amazed how much easier it is to manage all the moving parts of life. Everything in one place, nice and simple. So there you have it. The mycore system helps you identify your values, set goals, and then track your life according to that. Finally, a tool that helps you manage your life according to what you care about.